I unboxed this whole thing. I was in the process of unboxing this gimbal and everything that it came with. My attempt for this video is to save you that same confusion that I experienced, so that way you're not guessing what each part is for. So let's go ahead and get on into this because there's quite a few parts. All right, so here we go. Like, some of this is already put together, so I'm just gonna kind of go with whatever's in front of me, move it out of the way, and we'll try to get it all put together as well. All right, so this is an extension. That's all it is. You can use it for a couple different reasons, and I'll show you that in a second. But you got your male thread here, female thread there, and that's how that is going to help out in a second. This is the main part of the gimbal. This is also really cool because it has locking mechanisms here, so that way when you're stowing it somewhere, it's not shaking all around. I actually had this in a backpack, put these locks on, it was nice, and also if you're just carrying around, it does really well. Anyway, so I do recommend using this locks when you can, so if you are moving it around. You attach it to this piece here, which holds your batteries. This is also your controls, your follow focus. You untwist this bottom, you have your battery compartment there. This is your rechargeable batteries. You've got your battery charger here. So that's what you use that for. What I do like about this is that the batteries come apart from it, so that way you're not dependent on it. So if you want to get some more batteries, just in case these go dead, you can swap them in and out. This is a micro USB connection, should be USB Type-C, it'll be a faster charge, and just everything's going to USB Type-C. They need to include that with their charging capabilities as well. Don't forget to screw the cap back on. You got 4 different knobs here. You got your metal connection, line those up. And then you got this piece here that just twists on. Just make sure it's nice and secure so that way it's not wobbly or anything like that. The next piece that you'll probably want to put together is your tripod. That's what this piece is here. It's nice and sturdy. It's really simple to use. And you just twist that on to the bottom there. Before we move on to that part though, as I was saying, this is the extension. This is a really lightweight piece, but you would put it onto the end here and twist it on. I'm gonna leave it off for now because of space reasons, but I'll also show you a different feature that you can use that with in just a second. All right, so now you've got pretty much the piece that you'll mostly be using this for. This is gonna be your mounting plate for the camera. Now this is something extra that I put on to this. I have this mounting system on all of my camera gear, so I want to do the same. I've got the Ronin S, I also do that for that, so all my tripods, all my Gorilla Pods, everything has this mounting plate, so that way it's easy to put my cameras on and off of it. And all I did was attach it to the quick release that it comes with right there. So here's the extra mounting plate. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to get that. It's only about 10, 11 bucks on Amazon. And I recommend doing something similar to that, so that way you have just a universal system working for you. That just snaps in place like that. And if you want to use it, I mean, it's going to be locked in place. If you want to undo it, you just move that lever and it comes off like that. So I'm going to put this back on so that way it's ready to rock. What I do like is that it has this handle here, so that way it's just easier to twist on and off. You don't have to use an actual screwdriver, so that's a plus. And notice you get an arrow here at the bottom that's going to tell you what way the lens is supposed to go. So you want it pointing that direction. Make sure this is nice and straight, nice and even. Then that's ready. Then all you do is just snap this piece on, just like that. A couple locking kind of things going on here. You want this lever here all the way there, so that way you can slide this in, and you're gonna end up locking it in place when you're ready. Now, when you start to do all the balancing and stuff like that, you'll end up moving that part. So here's the part we just did. Now that's pretty much ready to go to start getting balanced. This next piece here is one of the accessories that this comes with, and you're gonna want to make sure that the knob here is facing up. You're gonna slide this onto the side, and pretty much the way that you know what side it's gonna be, you got your controls and dials on this side, and that just kind of goes in right here. Next, you got these knobs that they have this like nice texture and stuff like that. This was actually kind of a difficult part for me, so hopefully it works out really good for this video, but you kind of have to be patient with it if it ends up doing the same thing. You've got the sides right here, I'm just gonna end up twisting them on and kind of do it loosely to start with. You don't want to do it too tight because one side was working well for me at one point, then the other side just wasn't catching right. So you're just gonna have to be patient with it if it acts like this for you. When I was doing the unboxing video, I ended up just having to stop it because I was just wasting footage time. I don't like how it's so difficult and it's acting difficult again. I'm not really sure why. It's like the threads you gotta get it just right. They don't catch like they should. So I'm gonna get this on and then come back to you. All right, so if you end up having the same issue, I loosened the one side, the first side that I started working with some more, pressed it against this way, and now it's catching the way it should. But what you could do is have this extension if you don't plan on using the magic wand, you then have the extension here. So you could use that to go down and up and all that kind of stuff and just have that extra just mobility and stability that way. So that shows you the couple uses that you could use with this extension. You can put it onto the attachment there or at the bottom of the gimbal. This next part that I want to show you is how to install the magic wand. This is something that I've personally installed incorrectly along with many other people that have done the same thing. So what I want to do is show you the right way to get this done. You got the magic wand itself and it's got two ends here that have some threads that you can work with. Grab this piece here, it's the wing, and it's going to help attach to this arm down here. What you want to do is start to kind of thread it in to get it started. The thought behind this is that you got the controls over here, so once you tilt the gimbal, you're going to want the controls facing this way. So just kind of think of that in mind, or you can think about the knob being to the left of the gimbal. So just place it in there and then just tighten the wing. And this is going to really keep it nice and firm and steady. It's not going to fall off or anything like that. It's a tight grip. The other two pieces that are left over that work with the magic wand is the cell phone mount and also the adapter here. So this just simply twist on, and I would actually just recommend leaving this on because you could just use it for all kinds of purposes. If you have some other kind of attachment there, you could possibly even put a monitor or something like that on there to be able to use. So the purpose of having the cell phone mount on here is so that way you have a monitor when you're using the magic wand. All you do is just simply put the phone inside of the mount and now you have a monitor. You got your controls, you can see what your footage is looking like. Because what you can do with this is that you can set this off to the side somewhere and then you can be somewhere else, you know, whatever distance away, and to be able to see what the camera's seeing. And with this magic wand, you can turn the gimbal so that way it's able to get different shots and pan around and whatnot. This piece here is for if you have a long lens, it kind of helps with the weight. So that way there's not so much weight kind of going down onto the camera itself and all that. This helps just support that lens up. But if you want to know how to attach it, you've got the front, you've got it right here, and all you do is put this piece, slide it into that, and you just loosen it and raise up and down as needed for your lens. You just kind of let it fit that way. All right, so I got my camera on here, it's balanced. I don't have it turned on just yet because I'm gonna work with it before I actually turn it on. So this is how we're gonna get stuff going. Grab this piece here with the silver screw, and you're gonna place it at the front. It goes into that top screw right there. You're gonna need your Allen wrench in order to get it tight. I do wish that they had a little bit more of a tool-less kind of setup. That way it's just less stuff to worry about. And of course you're gonna have to rebalance because you're putting this extra gear on it. So just keep that in mind. I mean, it's nice to get it nice and balanced beforehand, but you're still gonna have to get it balanced once you get all the stuff onto it. So you're gonna have about 2 of these different knobs. You're gonna use one of them for this other side. Then you got this tube here, or rail, so that way you can put it on the inside of that, and then you'll just use this to screw it on with. This is the focus area on the lens, so that's where you're gonna wanna line up the wheel. Just find that spot, make sure it's nice and flush with it. So that might be a little bit of a design flaw because if you have that on the outside, it kind of comes up against here, but just kind of works out that it tightens up just enough. Once you get the ring on there, then you got this attachment there. You pretty much just line it up, get the wheel to go on that part, and then you just tighten up the different knob here as needed. So now you've got this focus system all working, or at least installed. Now these pieces were a bit confusing to me. I had no idea what it was, and it's actually a rail that ends up going over the top. So we get this piece, twist that on there. Then you got this guy there. It just acts so that way you have different options for accessories. So that way you can just put a monitor here, you can put microphones, pretty much whatever kind of accessory you want to put up there. So now you can see the balance is just, it's a lot more off than what we had started with before we got all this stuff on here. But I mean, it shows you everything pretty much of what it does. The only other thing to talk about are the cables. This is a USB-C connection, and this actually helps you be able to communicate. So you got camera control, USB labeled here, plug that in. You just plug it in beneath the plate there. So this USB-C cable is awesome because it's on the same side as the connection on my camera, which is great. And it's just very minimal. There's not a bunch of cables hanging around. So you're able to communicate with the gimbal and the camera with the phone apps. That way you're able to do a bunch of different functions like that. All right, so we got another USB-C cable with USB-A. And it's really just gonna help cover your bases, and they include all the cables that you need. This is USB 3.0 to Micro 3.0. We also have USB 2.0 to Mini. So that's like the old school, like BlackBerry connection is what I used to call it. So depending on the camera that you have will depend on what kind of cable that you're gonna end up using. This is just a regular USB 2.0 to Micro USB. Then we've got USB 2.0 to USB Type-C. Then we got audio connection here, and that's just all the cables that you could ever want or use with this gimbal setup. So the reason why I made this was because the instructions, for one, none of it was in English, so it's pretty hard to follow. And even if you're looking at all the pictures, not all the parts are included in this whole explanation here. Even with the app, you can download the user manual, and it still doesn't have everything listed. So there's a lot of stuff to this gimbal. There's a lot that comes with it, which is awesome. But I was super confused with a few of the pieces, but I figured it out, and I wanted to share that information with you guys, so that way it saves you the headache or trouble of trying to figure stuff out as well. Other videos I have coming out about this gimbal is going to be the initial full review about it, my experience, a comparison with the Ronin S, how to balance the gimbal with the camera. I'm even gonna try to put some heavy lenses on it to see how it does. And I'm just gonna do a fun cinematic style video. I wanna show some more functionality. So there's just a bunch that I can do with this gimbal as far as content goes. I'm really looking forward to making those videos. So you're gonna wanna subscribe to the channel so that way you don't miss any of those videos when it comes out. I mean, this video is gonna be long enough as it is, and that's why I'm gonna split up all this stuff into separate videos. So that way it's just not this humongous video that you'll have to watch through. I figured making all that content about the different aspects of different features and all my thoughts about it will make good content for separate videos versus all big one video. I appreciate you guys watching. Again, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any more AK4500 videos. I appreciate FeiyuTech for sending this out to me, for taking a look at it, for testing and reviewing. I really appreciate that kind of stuff. Really good support for creators. All right, guys, I'll catch you guys later.